City Councils.
Question number 5, the Honourable David Parker.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Finance. Does he agree that New Zealand is currently operating as a two-speed economy and that the current growth mix is not sustainable? If not, why not?
Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, no. In some respects, the government, of course, doesn't get to pick the current growth mix. The Canterbury earthquake was not forecast. It will have an impact on New Zealand's growth mix for the next 6 or 7 years. The other reason I don't agree, though, is that because in the December quarter, 15 of the 16 measured industries, including manufacturing, showed growth. We are not seeing that growth leading to general inflation or interest rate pressures as yet. Auckland and Christchurch property markets are showing significant price increases, and that is some concern, which is why the government is taking steps to free up the supply of housing and reduce pressure on rising house prices. Overall, we're seeing reasonably broad-based and balanced growth, certainly more balanced and sustainable than it was in 2008 before the global financial crisis, but we have some way to go to get an economy that is more sustainably driven by export growth and strong savings and investment.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, the Honourable David Parker.
Does the Minister agree with Westpac Chief Economist Dominic Stevens that, and I quote, "We also continue to see big regional disparities reflecting New Zealand's two-speed economy"?
Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, the government has itself just published actually some regional GDP figures which are creating some debate. I don't agree with the economists that there are big regional disparities, but certainly those that have strength in the industries such as oil and gas and the dairy industry are doing well. They would be worried about Labor Green policies which are aimed at shutting down those industries.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Honourable David Parker.
Has he seen the International Monetary Fund's forecast that New Zealand will have the worst current account deficit in the developed world this year and every year through to 2018? And if the IMF is anywhere close to the mark, doesn't that prove absolutely he has failed in his stated ambition to rebalance the economy?
Honourable Bill English.
No, Mr Speaker, I don't agree with that. I have seen the IMF figures. Of course, the irony of this criticism from the opposition is that, as pointed out in the Burl report they were waving around a few days ago, if the economy did adjust faster to exports and savings, it would be at the expense of household consumption and household incomes. So they can't have it both ways, saying the government's not doing enough to ensure households have better incomes, and then turn around and say it hasn't rebalanced the economy fast enough by cutting household consumption and incomes.
Supplementary question, Honourable David Parker.
Well, if he doesn't think having the worst current account deficit in the world's a problem, is he aware that the forecast in his last budget... Actually, it wasn't, Mr Joyce. You need to check your facts.
With the member.
Is he aware that the forecast in the last budget was that unemployment would presently be 5.7%, that his budget 2 years ago predicted unemployment would now be 4.8%, and given that unemployment is now above 6% nationally and 7% in Auckland, does he consider that to be successful management of the New Zealand economy?
Honourable Bill English.
Well, if it's a measure of it, the worst current account deficit under this government, which is what it is today, is less than half what it was for the last 3 years of the Labor government in power.
Supplementary question, the Honourable David Parker.
Does the Minister of Finance agree that a capital gains tax would reduce distortions in investment signals and drive investment from rental house price speculation into productive export industries?
Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, the one proposition we've seen for a capital gains tax is the proposition put forward by the Labor Party, and of course what it does is exempt most housing stock, so it would have no impact, and in fact it remains a tax.
Point of order, Honourable David
That's
Parker.
not my question. My question, and I'm happy to repeat it.
Order. I think on this occasion the best way forward is for the member to repeat the question.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Does he agree that a capital gains tax would reduce distortions in investment signals and drive investment from rental house price speculation into productive export industries?
Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, no, I don't. And the proposition we've seen, which is Labor's proposition, exempts most housing, not rental housing, and it remains, in effect, a tax on the growth of businesses. That's actually what it is. It won't have much impact on the housing market, but it will certainly tax all gains from growing a business, reinvesting the profits and employing people. And in that context, it's an anti-jobs tax.
Question number 6, Chris Ockenville.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for ACC.